Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from across the world. Welcome to another broadcast of Investor's Guide. This program is designed by Global Capital Inc. Just a little bit about Global Capital Inc. Global Capital Inc. specialize in looking at debt, equity, and credit capital. One of the things that we do, we position our clients to access credit capital at 0% APR. So in the event that you want to know more about what we do, reach out to us. We also give you support to build your business and your brand with local, regional, and international relevance. And today with us in the studio is an extremely talented young lady. Her name is Shateka Husser. She is a tax-free retirement accounts consultant and so much more, and so much more. I mean, I just love talking with this lady. You know, she has so much of energy. She is out of New Jersey, but of course she traveled around 13 states within the United States of America, position her brand to make impact with her ideal customer. Welcome, Ms. Husser.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I appreciate this opportunity to be able to have this communication with you and your audience here this morning.
It's such a pleasure to be with you today. I know that you have so much of information that can really position the average person and the entrepreneur to be able to build wealth. So I'm really happy to be here with you and to get your perspective on how investors should be thinking, your investor's guide, because you are going to be guiding the entrepreneur, you're going to be guiding the average individual as to how to position themselves to build wealth. So I'm just happy to be here with you. Let's get the ball rolling. How important is your platform to position entrepreneur and the average individual to build wealth? I know we talk about this a lot. I feel your passion, but I just want to hear it from you at this particular point. I know you talk a lot about this.
Right. It's super important that people move from their career into their calling. And oftentimes it's their finance that's actually keeping them from or preventing them from doing just that. And so if I can help a person to be able to visualize and tell me what it is that they want to see themselves in terms of finances in retirement. So, more so when I say retirement, it's not necessarily retiring to expire per se, but retiring to transition into something greater with the finances and the income that you need in order to be able to carry you in that very next phase or level of your life, right? So the goal is to get tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive for the rest of your life, right? That's one of the greatest fears besides dying is going to be the income and running out of income, unfortunately, in the latter years of people's lives. So if I can show you a way, the average individual, a 5-year plan or more, depending on your budget, your vision, and so forth, how you can, structure with the contributions that you're probably already making and redirect them into the right financial vehicles, i.e. a tax-free retirement account, and how that's going to allow you to have so many more benefits than the average employer plan, right? For example, the average employer plan is not going to come with the protection of income, the protection of, from lawsuits for your money, protection from market volatility. You want your money to be in a safe haven account because Warren Buffett says that, the thing that you want to make sure is that you have to be making money for you while you're sleeping. So you want the money to be compounding, but he has his rules for money. Rules 1 and 2 is to never lose money. And the wealthy understand this more than anyone. And so they have understood to position their money in these types of tax-free retirement accounts that's going to allow them to never have to participate in the market when the market loses money, but only participate in the market when it's going to be a gain. And so they're excited about that because you can rest assured that this is like sleep insurance, so to speak, right? Like you can go to sleep at night knowing that your money, your retirement account, your tax-free account is never going to lose a penny, but the only thing it's going to do is keep growing. And if anything, it may become stagnant in a market where there's great loss for some people. Many clients have came and said, they've spoken with different financial advisors, and unfortunately, they've lost $300,000, $800,000 in their account. And yes, we always know that it can rebound, but will it rebound in your lifetime? That is the question. And so if you can put it in something that will not have to, you don't have to be concerned about it rebounding, but just continuous growth, that's where I come in at, because I wish I would have met me in my 20s and 30s, right? Because I would have definitely been positioned, at a pace where literally you probably wouldn't even have this conversation, because I might be on an island somewhere, right?
You'd be
But
too
at the end of the day,
relaxing, enjoying life.
yes,
I got you.
but no, honestly, I love what I do. You say, how important is this? This is super important, because my story is that I lost my two closest friends. And if you can imagine, your two closest friends in 2018 expiring to the flu within 4 days, unexpectedly. That's exactly what happened with me. And at that time, I was devastated. But what I learned was that they never really lived. Why did they not live? Because they worked, right? And, they could have at some point retired sooner than later. Millennials and Generation Zs, they want to retire at 35, 45. They don't want to work to 65. That is for, our grandparents and our parents, right? The baby boomers and so forth. They want to make sure that they can live their best life, and they want to live it now. And so if we can position their finances in such a way that they can actually allow their income to grow, their contributions to grow tax-free, not paying capital gains taxes, right? With a lot of different types of benefits, i.e. the medical benefits. So if you become, chronically, critically, or terminally ill or chronically injured, in other words, heart attack, cancer, stroke, dementia, any type of long-term care needs, long-term disability, these types of things, you want to make sure that your money, can absolutely pay for some of these medical expenses, because 69% of medical expenses create bankruptcy, right? So bankruptcies are caused by 69% of health challenges because people just can't afford to pay these medical bills. And so if you have your money is positioned in the right types of vehicles, for example, the tax-free retirement account, you don't have to worry about medical expenses in retirement when your body begins to deteriorate like most.
I really love what you're saying there. And there's two things that I want to look at. One, everything that you're saying is true, because we have researched this, and what we are seeing is that, the majority of people spend over 49 years in the workforce before they reach the age of retirement. And even when they reach the age of retirement, they're still not able to retire, and they still do not have this retirement tax-free account that you're talking about. The other thing that we have seen is that there are millions of people across America, and I'm fully aware of this. They have an insurance policy that is not giving them any benefits in their lifetime. But what you're talking about is benefit now. And I love that you spoke about what the wealthy do. The wealthy establish these insurance accounts, and the wealthy leverage it. It's their money, so they know how to borrow against it, how to put it into performing asset, how to duplicate that process several times and build a significant amount of wealth. I'm really happy that you are onto this, and you're building out your brand, and you're moving around 13 states and with a deliberate intention to make impact in transforming the lives of people financially. And I'm happy that we are partnering on this. This week, we're going to expand this to look at real estate and how they can leverage this particular portfolio and to invest into performing assets, where they can earn when they sleep. So we have a lot to talk about moving forward. The question that I want to ask you as you move forward is how would you rate your profession as a vehicle to build corporate and personal wealth? I know you talk a lot about protecting your asset. Is not just gaining the wealth, but it's protecting the bag, so talk to me about the importance of what you're doing. How do you rate it as a vehicle that not only position the entrepreneur or position the average individual to build wealth, but it's to build wealth and to protect it from lawsuits, is to protect it from, all of those other factors that, we have talked about.
So when you think about it, tools such as a tax-free retirement account is what billionaires have been using all along. We're just starting to learn about this tax-free retirement account, right? For example, Walt Disney, you would have known Disney World to be what it is today if he hadn't used one of these types of accounts. Okay. And so, he was able to fund his business, expand his business, grow his business with this account and the growth in the account. Why? Because it grew tax-free income in it. It didn't pay any capital gains. And so we wonder why people like our presidents and so forth, they don't pay taxes. They have these types of vehicles to be able to place their money in and be able to leverage it over and over again. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It's about how much money you can keep. And so that's how important this is. And that's what's so significant about what it is that I'm communicating with you today. And it's that. So when we think about, how important is it for corporations and employers and business owners, it's super important. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 20. Because all that it's able to provide you, it can be found in no other vehicle collectively. Let's just talk about the average consumer, and thinking about the financial independence steps, right? So there's 6 different steps, right? Of all the different types of financial vehicles out there that people use, i.e. NFTs, cryptocurrency, real estate, trading, all these different things, none of them have the common denominator of all 6 steps that are absolutely necessary to create financial independence for an individual. Okay, you think about it: compounding your money, cash flow, emergency fund, family legacy, building wealth. All of these different, components of the financial independence steps are absolutely found in the tax-free retirement account. And that's why I like to talk about it as much as I do, because most people are unaware, uninformed, and that's why the wealth gap keeps getting larger and larger. The wealthier are getting wealthier and the poor are getting poorer because they can't keep up with inflation, because they don't have their money in something that's going to compound for them faster than a bank account, okay, and faster than having to work and trade time for money. Because if you're always trading time for money, that is not the way to go, because at some point you're going to run out of time, you're going to run out of money. And so this, again, debt, even debt, paying off debt, tax-free retirement accounts can pay off all your debt in anywhere from 7 to 9 years. The average individual don't know how to do that. They don't know how to structure that. But if you can grow your money inside a vehicle that grows tax-free and take that money that's tax-free growth, okay, and now pay off your debt in 7 to 9 years, wouldn't that be the way to go? So when you tell me, and you ask me, Shateka, how important this is absolutely fundamental, right? I mean, it's life and death almost, right? How do we live without money? Money answers all things. So I'm excited to speak about it.
No, I really love what you're saying. And I just want to give a graphic and picture of the benefits that you're talking about and how we see the wealthy leverage insurance. Let's take, for example, you want to, create an expense of, let us say, $100,000, and you're paying 10% interest rate over 10 years. So you borrow 100,000, 10% over 10 years means that you, at the end of that life cycle, you're going to be paying back $200,000. So it's 100,000 in interest. But guess what? If you have the right insurance vehicle, if you have the right retirement vehicle, you can borrow against your premium. And guess what? You almost have nothing to pay on the sum that you take out to get the same asset that you want. So there's a lot of, techniques that I see the wealthy is using, particularly so with what you're talking about. So there's so much of work that we have to do to really educate people, as to the right portfolios that they can use when they are attempting to create debt. So I really, really love what you're saying. Now, what would you say are 2 major accomplishments that you would have achieved over your life cycle, your experience in this field? I know that you talk a lot about, you want to impact people, you want to impact businesses. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I probably just experienced my greatest, what should I say, recognition, literally just past weekend. I am actually powered, our company, Shateka Husser Financial Services, is actually powered by First Financial Security. And you're talking about, I don't know how many agents around the world, around the nation, I should say. And they've been in business over 16 years doing these different things. I actually have ranked number 1 year to date.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Beating out, some of the types of professionals that are averaging 1.8 million a year. I beat them out in just the first 15 days of the year. I checked this morning, the day's the 7th, the 18th, and I'm still at the number 1. So I feel like I did something here in this industry, because my background, as you well know, is Army. I was an Army officer, and then I went on to be a corporate executive with the big box retailer of the world, Walmart, and then the number 1 online retailer of the world, Amazon, and now I'm helping people literally. So I've always worked with the best of the best, and here I am, even with the best of the best, I feel, in this industry, and I'm still being able to blaze a trail for those that are coming behind. I'm looking for more minorities to join us and to speak, because we have to educate our community on how to build wealth. So I feel like, my greatest recognition probably was this past weekend, but also when I was able to do the Generational Wealth Symposium, where I had over 300 people to show up, 475 people to register in just under 90 days of me planning a Generational Wealth Symposium in Baltimore City. If you go to generationalwealthsymposium.com, you can kind of see what actually occurred and what we did, what we put together. 4 different rooms. Basically, we had a round robin where this group of people went from room to room, which was themed out on different topics: real estate, entrepreneurship, marketing, and so much more. And it was just exciting to see that, I was able to impact so many people with that one event. And from that point on, with 11 different speakers, and we was able to, help so many people at that one, in just one time. And I had never done anything like that before. So again, using our expertise to really educate the community. The community is what it's all about. Even being a host on the Winning in Wealth show, and now the Winning in Wealth Club on Clubhouse, I have been able to continue to have these conversations in different communities and spaces.
I really admire your energy, and I have to get that cup so I can drink from that cup where all that,
Okay.
That lucky cup, whatever you do, you're doing it well. And I really love your, what you're doing and how much you have been able to accomplish in a very short period of time, because the year just begun, and, you're already, setting trends in terms of what you're doing. That tell me about your commitment and the energy that you bring to what you do. What is your big vision for 2022? I know you talk about minority and, your vision. What is the big vision that you have for 2022?
Honestly, sometimes this year, my 3 words, I have a 3 combo word for this year, and it's health, wealth, and stealth. Stealth meaning I'm moving in silence. And so I don't really want to communicate everything that I'm doing, but I trust and believe that I have some huge, huge goals and a huge vision out there. But I will just say this: I do want to help 250 people this year to actually move into the space of having a great retirement plan in place. So that's one of the goals I would say that I have. But I literally wrote out 22 goals for this year that I want to see happen. I know for some people that might be outlandish, but a few of them are very, 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 how should I say, proprietary in nature. So I don't want to really speak to those, but I will just say that I will continue to be helping the community. So yes, I'm still going to be around.
I love that. And who would you say is your ideal customer? Because let me say this, one of the things that I've seen is that the wealth gap is not restricted to particular ethnic groups. I'm seeing that across the board, across all ethnicity, there is a massive wealth gap. There are those who are able to break through the ceilings and make things happen. But there are a massive amount of people, all across ethnicities that I think that your content is relevant to. But who would you say is your ideal client?
Honestly, my ideal client would probably be, and I will say is a millennial African-American male for several reasons. I know that, they want to make decisions, but they don't necessarily have all the tools a lot of times, because they're so busy trying to make the money for their family. And if I can catch them with the ease of information and what I have in terms of being able to educate them, I can be able to provide them what they need in order to be able to make those decisions. It's more, for me, it's more a generation than it is a race, right? So it's more of, the Gen Zs and the millennials that I'm targeting, because I want to catch people in their 20s, 30s early to make those decisions. Because as you well know, positioning your money, time is money. So it's not about how much you put in, but where you position it, and then how much of that can you be able to keep to make sure that you can leverage it. So ideally, I'm targeting two generations more so than I am any ethnicity. But then if I had to give it a bit more precise avatar, it would be the professional 30-year-old male, African-American male, is who is my target. So like the doctors, the lawyers, even some truck drivers. I have quite a few truck driver clients. And so those are some of the people that I've been targeting, professionals in their field.
You know, I'm happy that you identified that demographic, because one of the things that most people tend to run away with is that a lawyer, a doctor, and these professionals, you know, they're earning enough to be financially free. But one of the things that we see is that they're working paycheck to paycheck. It's not how much you earn. Yeah, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep, and how well you understand investment portfolios. And what we are seeing is that most people do not understand, you know, investment. You know, they do not understand stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They do not understand, you know, ETF. You know, they do not understand Vanguard Index. I call in those portfolios that are safe. They do not understand REITs. So again, I do see that the role that you're going to be playing here is going to be tremendous. It's going to be really, really be tremendous. And I do believe that your content, as you spoke earlier about retirement, it can help people to retire 5, 10, 15, 20 years before the age of retirement. It's not that you're going to retire and, you know, step away from work, but at least, you know, you have enough, you know, assets, you know, performing assets that are paying you when you sleep, that you can step away from that, you know, 9 to 5, spend more time with the family, find yourself, do more good in the world.
I often say that retirement is not an age. Retirement is an income. So if I can help you get an income, that's where it's at. It is not about an age. You should not have a week for 40% of that in retirement. They hope to get 40% of that in retirement, when they can absolutely create that on their own with the money that they make. You're right. The wealthiest people, in terms of, you know, the high salary, high earners, they are not putting their money in the right vehicles, and they are literally working paycheck to paycheck because they're paying too much in taxes, number one, and number two, they don't know how to leverage the money. Right? They hope to meet somebody that can help them with that, but unfortunately, they don't understand some of the vehicles that they should be placing their money in, so that they can actually grow the money and grow it without risk. And so that's where I come in at. And that's why I want to educate that person. Because, you know, our race, African Americans, we've been through so much. And so I want to make sure that I can help people to get a head start when it comes to finances. It's not enough to have a great 6-figure, 7-figure job, but it's how can you leverage that income so that you don't have to work all the days of your life, like Warren Buffett says.
I really
so the
love
average
that.
individual is going to the average individual is going to retire at age 65, and they're only going to have about $168,000. Who can live off $168,000 for 20 years? Tell me. So if I can get you, 10x that just by positioning your money in better vehicles, then it'd be worth having a conversation.
I love that. And I do believe that the demographic you've identified, they definitely need that kind of intervention. You know, as I move around the United States, I see a whole lot of what you're seeing. As I travel some parts of the world, you definitely see this too. You know, people are earning, but the investment vehicle is what they don't know about, the education. But, to some it may sound surprising, because American market, financial market is developed for hundreds of years now, hundreds of years. And it's so surprising that the majority of people still do not understand finance. They don't understand the market and how to up level it to their own advantage.
Absolutely. And educate yourself, and that's where it's at. Self-education. Jim Rohn has a saying out there about education versus self-education. And I guess formal education, you can make or earn living, but self-education, you can make a fortune. A great book to, steer you toward, I guess, would be probably The Power of Zero, written by David McKnight, or IUL ASAP, written by her. Said I think that'll help get people moving in the right direction.
No, you're perfectly correct. Getting a good education, get you a good job, may give you a decent life, but you're still going paycheck to paycheck. And, what we have seen, self-education is what really position you to make a massive amount of wealth. And what we have to look, create a transition with is where, public education could be the self-education. And I do believe that the role that you're doing, the role that we're going to be collaborating on is where we're going to, try to normalize what we call self-education. And that is showing people platforms where they can build wealth, and position themselves to live a better quality of life early in life. For me, it hurts when you see highly educated people, because the way we're schooled is to go to school, get a good education, get a good job. But what happens after you get a good job? You struggle in the work environment for many, many years, and you're part of corporate culture that is not really looking into your concerns. And for me, if you study hard and you develop yourself, at the end of the day, you should be able to have a bag, the disposable income that you don't have to worry about the all-inclusive family tour. When last have the average person said, mommy, daddy, uncle, aunt, my kids, my wife, let's take a trip. Let's go to Egypt and just let's, hang out and, see the world. Because living should be part of that. It's not just about work. So the role that you're going to be playing here, it's tremendous. All right. I'm really happy to be collaborating with you on some of these initiatives. But tell me something, I want to come to the two last questions. What is unique about you? What is unique about what you do? I see your passion. I feel your passion. What is unique? I have heard that you discuss a number of unique features already about what you do, because you said that your portfolio provides 6 unique features that most other financial instruments and financial vehicles are not provided. That in itself is very unique. And it gives the kind of protection to the investors like no other instrument does. Your instrument can withstand, a pandemic, it could withstand, a tsunami, it could withstand all of that. But I want you to give me your spin on what is unique about your brand.
Well, my brand is because of my background, first of all. So my whole slogan is retire before you expire. Think about it.
Love that. Love that.
Retire before you expire. If you need some help, I'm the one you hire. My goal is to get your bank account on fire with a whole lot of lifetime tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive. And so what's unique about it primarily is that people are looking to Social Security for retirement when it's going to be, no longer there at some point, right? But what if you could structure your own Social Security, because you have now been well informed on how to do that, with money that will never run out for the rest of your life, tax-free. That's why I bring something different to the table. But also, I'm a certified professional coach. So some of those money blocks that people deal with, and some of the actions, the procrastination they have, even in how to get things done, I bring that to the table as well, because as a previous Army officer, someone understands what discipline looks like, and someone that's led at high level in these different corporations, I understand some of the, the disciplines that people lack. In terms of what they need to do when it comes to their finances, rather it be educating themselves or organizing their paperwork or properly structuring things so that they can literally leave a legacy. It's going to, what I'm communicating to people is how to build wealth beyond where you are today in retirement, but for many years to come, because we should be leaving an inheritance for our children. But most people, because they're not informed, they don't have proper structure, they don't understand even how to use an estate planning attorney, they are going to end up, not leaving anything for the children after working all of their life So they're going to go to the grave and nothing's going to be left behind. That's sad to work all your life, but because you didn't have documents in place, you didn't have the right financial vehicles in place, your assets went to probate at a higher level than they had to because you just wasn't informed.
Awesome. I really love what you're saying. Now I'm at the last question. How would you like to be remembered?
That's awesome. I'd like to be remembered literally as that lady that went out to reach back, to the next generation, to really show them the way to not have to work all their lives and to, like I said before, move from career to calling. For some people, their career is their calling, but most people, that is not the story. So if I could help them, I want to be remembered by being that individual that gave them the epiphany of how to do money and how money works, so that they don't have to work all the days of their life, but also how they can educate their children on how to do money the right way and how money works. Because none of us was taught, most of us was not taught, all right, in school, college, and so even as someone that has a master's degree in business, I didn't learn what I know today about money until I went out and researched and learned and got licenses and things of that nature. And so if I can break it down to a digestible, bite-sizable, ways that people can actually digest it, then I want to do that so that people can get it, right? Like I told you, 6 steps of financial independence, and then literally all 6 steps will include literally a tax-free retirement account when we go and break it down for you. So how do I want to be remembered? As a teacher of how to do money.
I love that. So there you have it. Wherever you're viewing us from across the world, we were talking today with Shateka Husser, and she is a specialist when it comes to helping you to build the right retirement account so you can retire early. All right, you were watching at Investor's Guide, and today Shateka should focus a lot on providing information to investors. Invest in your life so you don't have to work so hard. You can retire early and you can travel, see the world, and her pet word, you can find yourself, be yourself, live from that inner beauty, live from purpose. All right, so I will put some information at the back of this video so you can either reach out to me or reach out to Shateka, and in the event that you need to get more information about her. This is definitely not the last of Shateka. She's overflowing with information, and I know that she's just beginning to scratch the surface here in terms of the information that she has to help people across the world transform their wealth. So keep looking out for more of Shateka. Thanks, Shateka.
Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
All right, any last words you want to say before we close?
If anyone wants to reach out to me, it's really simple. They can just literally go to shateka.com. I made it really simple for people. So it's SHATEKA.com. SHATEKA.com. That's it.
Awesome. All right. See you soon. I'll be talking to you at the back end soon.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.